Today, we're going to be tackling on external unchanged. So what is external unchanged? It's actually a type of ratio question. These are actually one of the more basic questions for ratio as they commonly appear in our section A. These questions are also commonly considered as your constant part, as there's actually only one change that will happen within this question, resulting in the two ratios given. So let's read this question first. The ratio of Peter and Charles' pence was 3:5. So after Charles threw away 6 pence, and this is going to be one of the key points that we have for this question, the ratio of Peter and Charles' pence changed to 2:3. So how many pence did they have at the beginning? So we notice there are two parts. Part 1, where Charles threw away 6 pence. Number 2, where we focus on the two given ratios, 3:5 and 2:3. We have our before and after. So commonly for these kinds of question, we'll be writing a table. The table of P to C, Peter, Charles, and the two scenarios, before and after. Commonly written just BEF and AFT. So let's look at the ratios that were being provided. The ratios that were provided are 3:5 and 2:3. So you write 3:5, 2:3. So with these ratios over here, now we are going to be comparing the values because we notice that Charles threw away 6 pence, but Peter, nothing happened to Peter. And if nothing happens to Peter, the Peter's value should stay exactly the same. So Peter's value of 3 and 2 should not actually have any difference in the numbers. So we can make them the same. How can we make 3 and 2 the same number? By multiplying a value to them. This is what we'll do for the entire ratio because the proportion has to stay the same. So this means we're going to multiply 2 for the top ratio and 3 to the bottom. Thereby giving us a new ratio, P to C, as the values 6:10 and 6:9. Now, what's the key change that happened? We notice that for Charles, the value has decreased from 10 units to become 9, minus 1 unit. And what does this 1 unit represent? It represents the change for Charles, which was earlier on discussed, threw away 6 pence. This means that we can now conclude our final part of the answer, where the change of 1 unit here refers to 6 pence, and if you're asking how many did they have at first, we are looking at before. But it's strange, we still have two ratios over here. So do take note, the reason that we are using the second ratio for our calculation is because this was where the 1 unit came from. We modified the ratio, we use the new ratios for the calculations, hence we are using the new ratios for the final bit too. So last but not least, 6 plus 10, the total will be 16 units. And 16 units here would give us the grand total of 96. So in the future, we'll be discussing more ratio questions, the various types of ratio questions that will typically appear in your PSLE.